Hello friends, Cheryl here with Ink Pulp again, and I'm back with another 12-minute tips video. Before I start on that, I want to welcome anybody who's new to my channel. I'm glad to have you here, and if you're a regular subscriber, welcome back. I really appreciate your support. Today we're going to talk about colored pencils and a product called Gamsol. Some of you may have heard of it, some not. But I'm going to show you why, for me, this is a miracle product. So if you have an image and you want to color it, or you just want to enhance the color in it, this is kind of what you get when you just lay down your colored pencils. You can see that, there's different layers of color for some shading, variegated color in the flower leaf and in the flower center. But you can really see the pencil marks. You can see a lot of white spaces in there. It's hard because even though this is just copy paper and it feels very smooth, there is still a lot of texture in it. And the color doesn't always get down into all the valleys of the paper. So this is what you normally get. And this may be what you're used to seeing on your own colored pencil work. This one is done with the exact same colors, same way. Look at those leaves. Look at how blended they are compared to this one. Let's put those two side by side. You see the difference? So a couple of things here. The colors on this one are more vivid and they're more blended. And there's less of the white space. If you want to eliminate that completely, you have to put layer upon layer upon layer down. This is just one layer, both of them. So these are identical, except that one I have blended with Gamsol and one I have not. So what is Gamsol? Gamsol it's a liquid. It's pure odorless mineral spirits. And it says, it has freed a generation of artists from exposure to strong solvents. It's odorless. You don't have to worry about it. It's fairly mild, but what it does, it is a solvent and it breaks down the waxes in the color pencil. So with the waxes broken down, the colors can blend and move around a little bit easier. Now, a lot of color pencils, and I use Prismacolor pencils. I've got these here. I use Prismacolor pencils, and with that you can get, see if I can show you this up close if it'll focus. Come on, there we go. It's colorless, okay, so there's no color in it. It is considered a blending pencil, and you can put it on and blend colors with it. I don't find it nearly as effective as Gamsol is. So I pretty much don't use this. You may have seen them, and if they work for you, great. They do not really work for me. So let's take a look at how Gamsol works. I take my Gamsol and I put it in a little small glass jar, fill it with cotton balls, and then I pour the Gamsol in to soak the cotton. That's how I use my Gamsol. It's easier than using it out of the tin where it's just all coming out liquid. So this is the way that works for me. And what you're going to do is take one of these tortillons, and these are just paper blending stumps. They can be called blending stumps, in which case they're usually flat on one end and pointed on the other, or these tortillons that are pointed on both ends, but they're paper. And that's what we're going to use to blending. You can get them at Michael's or any craft store or art supply store is going to have them. Okay, and they're very inexpensive. So the way we use it, I'm going to take this image here that has just got the one layer of pencil but hasn't been blended. And what you want to do is tip your tortillon into the Gamsol, just into that sponge, and you can see at the end of that there that it's wet. You've wet the paper. And then I always start with the lighter color first. So I have 3 different shades here. So I start at the lightest because I don't want to pull all that dark pencil up into the light color. So there's the top, and then I'm going to slowly blend that down into the darker color. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to blend down into this. This is also actually a blue, but it's got a purple hue to it. So you can see how much more vivid that is. And then what I can do is take that and pull up, and I can pull some of that purple color up into the blue. And you just keep working it, and if you run out of liquid, you feel like you don't have enough Gamsol on there, just pop it back in the jar and get some more. So look at the difference on that from one to the next, and that's how easy it is. You just take the tip of your tortillon and you know, work it until you're happy with it. If you want to add another color, like maybe a real darker purple right at the bottom, you can add some more color on there and blend it in. You can just keep working with it until you get what you want. So that's how easy it is. Now I do want to show you real quickly. Let's do, now there's blue on the end of that, and I'm going to show you how to take care of that too. But I'll go to the other end, and we'll do one of the leaves too to show you. Again, I'm starting with the lighter color and then pulling some of that darker into it. I'm pulling the lighter into the dark and the darker into the light, so that we get a really nice blend. And you see that leaf there? Come on. Focus. Well, goodness, sometimes these cameras just don't want to focus. It's trying. There it goes. So you see how well blended that is? Now I can see I've got a little bit of pencil mark. I can still see up close. You can't see it so much in person, but I'm seeing it on the camera, so I'll just go back and blend that a little more till I get rid of that. Okay, so you just work it until you like what you see. Now, you can't really use this. If I had some like that yellow center, now I've got green on one end, I've got blue on the other end, and I can't really use this because it's going to contaminate. So what I do, you can use a nail file, an emery board, or you can use a piece of sandpaper. And you're just going to go along and sand off, because again, this is just paper. And you can sand it to a point if you want a sharper point. And these come in all sizes, by the way, so you can get, I've got a smaller one here for getting into small spaces. Like on that stem, I would use the smaller one. But you can just sand it down, make a sharp point, however sharp you want it. You can't, I believe you can put these in like an electric pencil sharpener. I've never tried it because I just think the paper would get all gummed up in there, but there, the green's gone. And now we'll do the same thing with the blue. And so once you've sanded it down, you can use it on your different colors. Now sometimes if I'm doing a lot of blending, I'll use one stump for, you know, the yellows, and I'll just leave it yellow, one for, you know, reds, one for blues, and just keep using it over and over again. But for this, we just file it down and that color's gone and it's ready to go again. So that's the trick with Gamsol. And I typically use 3 different colors, or excuse me, 3 different shades when I'm doing my blending. So now you can see on this one, I laid down the dark blue / purple heavier and more concentrated than I did on this one. So, and that's okay. You know, that works just fine, however you want to do it. And you can get some pretty neat shading on there. Now, let me give one disclaimer. I am not a color pencil expert. This is what I've learned, trial and error. I will tell you one thing. When you're laying down your color, go in more circular motions. So like on this leaf, I would put the light green over the whole thing. And then I would go back with a darker color, and I'm just kind of going in circles. You're going to fill in that white space better, and you're not going to get the hard, and go real light. You want a real light touch. You're not going to get the heavy pencil lines. Then go in with your next darker color and put that where you want it, and so on, and just keep adding colors till you get kind of the shading that you like. Okay? So that's my 12-minute tip. Oh, one last thing. Almost forgot one last thing. You can take, and this is a micron, you definitely want to use archival ink, something that's not going to bleed. And once you've done your Gamsol and blended everything, you can then go over any of the lines that you may have kind of grayed out by coloring. And see, I just made that little leaf vein. And I can actually do this one before I blend because it's archival. It's not going to bleed. Okay, so you can use, the microns on there. You could use a Sharpie if you wanted. I just like the microns. So that's my 12-minute tip. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something and find this helpful in your adventures with colored pencils. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.